Welcome, everyone. This is Phoenix with your Patriot Health Report for the weekend of Saturday, July 6th, 2024. All the health facts you want to know or need to know for the Patriot on the go. And, of course, I'm joined by Bob Gilpatrick of Boomers Forever Young. And this report, Bob is going to be talking to us about independence. As you know, here in the United States, we just had our Independence Day, July 4th. And a lot of talk, 248 years ago, the Declaration of Independence was signed, for the independence and that freedom, the entire basis of freedom. And the question for this week's health report is, are you independent? Do you want to be more independent? Do you need freedom from something? And we're going to kind of get into a bunch of different things about that. But again, the entire topic and the idea of what Bob's going to share with us is about you being free to do more things, you being free with more mobility, more ability, just feeling better and having your own independence, which it's a tough thing because many people feel dependent upon others, and maybe you don't have to be. Anyway, we'll leave all that stuff to the expert. And speaking of, Bob Gilpatrick, how are you doing, sir? And how are things going down in Florida?
Thank you, Phoenix. And things are going well in Florida. We've, we were talking earlier about shark attacks. We've had a few of our own here in Florida as well. But other than the shark attacks, Florida itself is doing really well. And things are going well also at Boomers Forever Young here on Central Avenue, and just spoke to a person on the phone this morning who learned about Boomers from your show, Phoenix, 10 years ago.
Fantastic. I love hearing stories like that, Bob.
Yeah.
Some really nice people. And you know that. I mean, now,
Yep.
My listeners have heard me say before that I've had different people I've interviewed and different people I've brought on the show. And, Bob, people are always like, oh, my God, who are these people who listen to you? They're the nicest people. And Bob can confirm that. I mean, we have some really interesting, varied, talented, independent thinking people who are listeners of Patriot Intel Report and have been for years. So, and I really appreciate thank you to all of you if you're listening.
Yeah, that's this gentleman who's been using Boomer products for a while and wanted to get some more today, and had two different friends that were having issues that they're having trouble resolving. One with Lyme's disease, and another with 2 or 3 other people. They're having lung problems, and so I was able to send him an email after we finished talking to give him some resources that would help with both of those types of issues. Not things that we sell here at Boomers, but some really great stuff that we knew about. And so I was really happy to talk to him. He's a musician as well as a sound engineer who is able to go to commercial settings and individuals' homes and set up magnificent sound systems for their place where they live and work. And really cool guy.
Interesting. Very cool. Audio, Mr. Audio. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So, you have any special sales or events or anything you want to tell us?
Yeah, a couple of updates. We do have a sale going on right now, which is kind of by request from the listeners and customers. And people were asking, when are you going to put collagen on sale? And so it's on sale right now. It's 25% off, and we also put vitamin C on sale, the same 25%, because vitamin C is a necessary compound that helps to facilitate the creation of collagen protein. So collagen is assembled in the cells of our body because it's got a genetic code that allows it to do so. And we need lots of collagen. It's the most prominent protein in the human body. And so your body needs to constantly be producing collagen. And in order to do that, it needs the building blocks. It needs the substrates that are called for to make up the collagen protein. And that's what's in the powder that people get from us. And we also know that vitamin C is a catalyst that helps with that synthesis. And that's why we put both on sale. Be on sale probably, let's see, maybe another few days, after Saturday here, which is 6th. So probably be on sale till about the 9th or 10th of July, 2024.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Yep.
That is good product. Collagen, so important for us.
The other thing I was going to say, Phoenix, is we've got an update on what's going on with our new Myotrol product. And we have a company in San Diego. It's going to be putting it into gel caps for us this time. And everything is set in motion to go, and it should be the end of the month of July or sometime early in August. We'll be getting a very good supply of it, and there'll be enough for everybody at that point. So we'll keep everybody up to date via email and text if you're already a customer of ours. And if you're not and you want to get some Myotrol, you'll be able to hear about it here.
Yes.
On Patriot Health Report.
Very cool. That's good news. I know a lot of people love Myotrol, and it's a new product, new production, and hasn't been an easy road for you guys. I know that, but it's working. The road may have hit a couple bumps there, but yeah, muscling through it, getting through it, and muscling through that, pun intended, muscling through it. Okay. Anyway, and just getting everything squared away. It's very good news, Bob. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's kind of typical when you start a brand new product that's coming right out of R&D. We've done this before when we first started, with the barley product that we have. We started with ordering 15 canisters of it that came down from Canada, and we just started getting one person at a time using it. Same thing with our Boomer Boost product. It took one whole year from the time we first spoke to our formulator and the attorney before that product was able to come onto the market. Myotrol, when we became familiar with it, was already 6 years in the making and had not been distributed commercially yet. And so me and a few other people were able to do the beta test and then get the first 1,000 jars of the product into Boomers Forever Young. And now this is the second iteration, and it's taking a couple of months longer to get the next order. But we've discovered, Phoenix, interesting, in the world of nutrition products, companies that can be very reliable and, great business associates for years and years, sometimes 10 years, can all of a sudden go the other direction. Sometimes it's because the company got sold to a new group, or some key people that are in the company have left, or other types of things just in life can go wrong. And we've experienced that with numerous different companies that we worked with, and then we had to stop working with them and get somebody else. It's a constant moving thing. And this happened to us with Myotrol. There were two different companies that at one time were very responsive and responsible, that just turned out not to be anymore. And so that's why we had to pivot. And
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, if these companies, if they keep, performing the way they are, that they won't be around anymore in the near future. But and we've seen that too, where companies had to close their doors because things went wrong. Keeping a company alive for many years is very difficult. Most companies never make it to 5 years. Only 10% of the companies that start make it to 5 years. And then if a company makes it to 10 years, there's this other phenomena that occurs where very few are still in business at 15 years. And so even though you can say hey, this company's been in business 10 years, this should be really great. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe they're like already measuring drapes for their new place they're moving into after they close doors.
You never know. But anyway, we did find a great supplier who's going to be making Myotrol for us, hopefully for many years to come. And that'll be a really great thing. I got this testimonial that came in, Phoenix, I want to read, that came from this lady. Let me see. She's 81 years old, going on 82. Here's what she said. I wanted to write and let you know that I am so happy with Myotrol. I was surprised earlier when I just started taking the product. It helped me pull my golf cart from an awkward location. Yesterday, 3 bottles of water, 5 gallons each, were delivered. And in the past, I would roll or drag into place and put them in the dispenser. Well, let me tell you, I went out to get the bottles into the house and without thinking, just picked each one up and carried it into the house. After doing this with ease, I smiled to myself and said, you go, Myotrol girl. The Myotrol muscle building properties have now given me confidence and ability to do daily chores and tackle anything that gets in my way. I only take 1 daily and it's enough for me. I just started walking towards my 82nd year of life. I finished 81 on June 18th. Thank you and Mr. Kurtz, that's the inventor, for this wonder product. Also, thank you for your dedication to helping people young and old and having a healthier life with all the many wonderful products. I love each and every product I am taking, but my number 1 is now Myotrol. God bless you. And then she has P.S. Remember me? I have the 4-year-old granddaughter that's hard to keep up with. It's like trying to nail Jell-O to a tree. I'm still trying and getting closer each year.
Wow, the Myotrol girl. That is so cool. Now, it sounds like to me, Bob, she's regaining her independence.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a huge thing.
Yes, it is.
Huge thing. And just less stress too, because you don't have to worry about trying to do things that are hard, which creates stress. Like, oh God, I got to go drag in these 5-gallon things of water.
Yeah.
That's been happening to me also, Phoenix, just like around here at the office. I have a couple of guys that work here that are very, very strong, like big, strong men. And in the past, we would, if there was something that needed to be moved or lifted into a truck or this or that, they kind of knew what I could do on my own, and they would always offer to help. And so, like the other day, there were these 5-gallon buckets of paint, and I don't know how much they weigh, but they're pretty darn heavy. And usually we would a 5-gallon bucket like that, I could move it, but it was a little bit of a struggle. And so one of my men would take it, and they were stronger than me. And then the other day we had 2 5-gallon buckets in the back of my car. brought them over to one of the guys' houses that needed it. And I just lifted him up by the handle out of the back of the truck and was able to carry two of them at once and walk off with them and set them down in the garage. And
Wow.
everybody noticed, they're like, wow, man, you just carried 2 5-gallon buckets of paint at the same time. And it's like, yeah, it's no problem.
Very cool. That's a good testimony.
Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic, Bob.
Um, the other thing that I wanted to say, Phoenix, was there's some studies recently about exercise and people exercising outdoors. And this kind of relates to the whole thing about freedom and independence. And these very high-level scientists at universities have been studying the benefits of exercising outdoors. And when people do the same exercise outdoors versus indoors, they tend to get more benefit from the outdoor exercise. And they're trying to figure out, what it is about being outdoors. And of course, they think about the common things like, well, they're getting more oxygen uptake because, the air inside is a little bit stale, and maybe there's more room to walk farther, things like that. And so, and then also people's mind is not on the exercise, but they're looking at the beautiful trees. And when they get done walking, they realize they walk farther and faster. And they know that there's a benefit, but they haven't really been able to put their finger on exactly why. And that was the gist of the article. And so I thought that would be a good thing to talk to you about, Phoenix, because you do exercise outside quite often.
Yes.
And just wondering what your thoughts were about that. If you were going to advise a scientific researcher to say you might want to look at this, what would you think?
Well, I actually think it's an energetic level to it. Number one, I think you're closer to the ground itself. You may not, you have your running shoes on, but you don't have floors in between you, carpets, electrical things. And also, I believe possibly hold on one second. Sorry, Bob.
Yep.
Excuse me, everyone. Okay, let's silence that. All right. I think that might be a factor in it, electromagnetic factor. You're surrounded by, light ballast, different things, all these electromagnetic frequencies, and it might be kind of blocking something because also being outside, I mean, we are connecting further out. Our energies, our energy source goes further out, and maybe it reaches a little bit, because you've talked to us before about the energy field of the heart. And I believe the energy field is removing, and we're doing that as amplified and intensified, and it may just have more room to expand and literally give us more energetic reach, and therefore a more free flow of energy through our muscles, through our heart, through our air, everything, than we would just being inside. I think that may have something to do with it. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, that's really interesting. While you were explaining that, I felt like a couple of things. One was a sense of beauty and a sense of the awe of nature creates a totally different feeling than being in a gym or at home exercising.
Right.
And we know from like muscle testing that if people are in a room that has artwork that they perceive as negative, whether it's dark or picture of, violence or something like that, that they become very weak in a room like that and cannot perform exercise as easily as if there was beautiful nature pictures on the wall. And if they muscle test people in those different environments, their arms are much stronger in the nature environments. And I guess when you go outside, you have the positive effect of the nature, but also the absence of any negative. And rooms in your house and rooms like in a gym can contain negative energy from other people that are there, other people that have been there earlier in the day. Um, and it can have negative energy just from the signs on the wall, right?
Sure.
So typically you go into a gym and the first thing you see is the rules about the gym, right? No, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. If we catch you doing that, we're going to kick you out, right?
Oh yeah, that's a gym.
And yeah, and so right away you're in an energy that has some negativity. Now there's also positivity because you have people there that are exercising and are, you know, are doing it for good reasons. But the nature part seems to have, an even bigger positive effect.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, people have better gains if they're running. I mean, you can run the same amount of time and distance on a treadmill, but if you run the same amount of time and distance outside, even if it's flat, no hills, just nice flat, like on a track or something, you will have better gains. You will have a better run. I know. I mean, and there's people listening right now who know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you have to, or for convenience, you have to, because we can get into situations outside too that are negative. And that's why it's so important to have a good place to exercise, But I totally agree with the aspects of the gym. I mean, you have electronic equipment in there, possibly music playing. Who knows what's, underlying all of those frequencies. And yeah, it's I can definitely see how that research is coming to those conclusions and those findings, because I agree 100%. And I think that it's even bigger than we realize. I think it's something energetic and spiritual about it. And again,
Yeah,
has to do with the frequencies of the earth, the trees, all of the nature that's around us. It's a living and vibrant thing. Whereas we're in a room and we're surrounded with dead things. I mean, no, unless you
yeah,
have a lot of plants in there, but it's mostly, a lot of it's synthetic too, and not even real. So yeah.
yeah. You know, going back to the lady in the testimonial
Mm-hmm.
and this sense of independence that she was talking about,
Yes.
you know, that's a really big one from the physical standpoint. It's quite amazing when people feel physically well and physically strong and confident in their physical ability, how much of a sense of freedom that really creates. And you can see people who have gotten old and crumbly that are moving very cautiously, and they're afraid of falling, and you can just see it in their gait and the way they move from one place to another. And this is uh, this is a typical progression of aging that it happens for many reasons. But what we see is when people start to get strong again, they they have this experience like this woman, the Myotrol girl,
My
at
troll girl.
age 81.
Dude, you're
And
gonna have a shirt printed up for her, and just
yeah,
surprise mail it to her. My troll girl.
yeah,
Oh, you know what? You know what? You could have it do it like in the colors of like the Superman thing, like Superman wears, but with an M,
yeah,
on it instead of a S, and then a little
yeah,
writing on the side that says like "My Troll Girl."
yeah. We could have her have a cape on and everything. That's a great idea. I'm going to draw one up with AI and bring it down to the Minuteman Press to see if they'll make me a shirt like that.
Excellent. Very cool. Very cool. If you do that, you got to post that on your website, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of freedom and independence, I was also thinking about people's freedom more from a mindset and an emotional mindset, and whether or not, people are really following their path. And there's a lot of people that write about this, including, Brendan Burchard, who's a motivational speaker and author, and he wrote a book called the Motivation Manifesto. And I actually think I have one of Brendan's books here. Yeah, I do. I actually have this. So it's subtitled 9 Declarations to Claim Your Personal Power. And part of what he talks about is freedom from fear and interrupting fear so that we can activate our own sense of freedom, which means choosing how we're going to feel, how we're going to interpret the world, and how we're going to direct our own lives. And in a really big sense, this is what we're talking about when people talk about freedom, meaning, we live in the United States of America, and some people refer to it as the free world. But even in the free world, people can get locked into a sense of being controlled from the news media, from all different types of propaganda, and from our own belief structures that might get carried away or become gestalts. Mm-hmm. And I think that freedom really starts in your own mind, and it's a choice. It's something that we can choose to cultivate by standing guard first at the door of our mind as to what we allow in, but then also to choose a feeling of freedom right from when we first wake up in the morning.
Yes, that is so vital. And I've talked a lot to my listeners about that. I tell everyone, try to, the best of your ability, before you get out of bed, before your feet hit the floor, you have set your intent for the day. You know it's going to be a wonderful day, a good day. And put some independence in there. I am free, I am strong, and I'm abundant. And it's going to be a great, great day. So I agree 100%, Bob. Setting your intent when you get out of bed is so, so important for many reasons.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the teaching that Brendan Burchard had about encouraging people in the morning to think about, who is it today that needs me to be on my A game? And if you close your eyes and ask that question, you'll probably know right away at least one person that that's going to be the case for. And if it's many people, you might even want to write those down because it might be that you need to reach out to that person, not so much that when they encounter you, you're on your A game, but that you are going to say, all right, this just popped into my mind that so-and-so needs me on my A game, and I'm going to give them a call, even though they may not have thought to call me today. And it's an intuitive thing. But then you also have to ask yourself, well, what does it mean exactly? What exactly would have to happen for me to be on my A game? And to be a person who feels very free, very strong, very committed to making strong forward movements in the encounters that I have, not being afraid to speak speak my mind, but also not being afraid to be a really great listener and somebody who is very in tune with the feelings of the other person or people that they are in touch with during the day. And it might be that being on your A game is being really great at understanding or getting a sense of other people's feelings and acknowledging those feelings. And in some cases, you might not even really have identified the right feeling, but at least speaking about it so they can also feel free to express their feelings. And then another part of your A game might be on coming up with really great suggestions for what somebody might need that day to further enhance a positive feeling or to help resolve things that are leading to a negative feeling. And it could be physical illness, it just could be an emotional upset, or it could be a question that they're pondering. And if you yourself in the morning get into a state of mind that is anchored in the thought that you have that's the highest thought for yourself. If I was to be the greatest person I could be today, what would that be? And this is very different than getting up, moving to the side of the bed. Oh, yeah, I'm still kind of tired. Yeah, got to do this, got to do that, got to do that, got to leave the house by 9 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. That's a very different start to the day than what is my own highest thoughts for myself within the scope of limitlessness.
Okay, really quick though. You gave the scenario of people like, okay, I got to do this, this, and this, and kind of making a little inventory of what needs to be done before they get up. Bob, sometimes it's even worse. Sometimes people, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We have to be organized and have a plan for the day. That's excellent. That's a step in the right direction. But, man, there are people sometimes, and I know people listening to me right now have experienced this, where they woke up in the morning and the first thing they thought was, oh, God, I've got to go do this today or that. And they actually start off with the opposing energy that we're talking about. Instead of starting with good, they will literally roll out of the bed with don't mean to rhyme, a sense of dread. And they will literally, their foot will hit the floor, and it's like with every step of dread because they've preset it up in your mind, because they preload what I call anti-faith, which is fear, right? And they're anticipating a confrontation at work, or this is going to be so hard, or I don't know how I'm going to do this. And so that's important too. And if people get into that cycle, man, that is, that's really something that has to break right there, because it's just like loading up the programs on your computer. You're writing the code. What are you coding in for the day? I mean, seriously, that's what we're talking about, everyone. Bob's teaching us right now. What we're talking about is basically coding your day. I mean, you're putting in the data for how the energetics will flow and how everything's going to go, basically.
Yeah, also, I think that, the whole aspect of action and what your actions are saying to another person. And if you feel free to express yourself, but express your best self. And there's a difference between people saying, oh yeah, well, I always say exactly what's on my mind. Well, that's probably not always the best way to go about things, because you might be feeling very angry. You might be having other feelings that are not going to be helpful in a given situation. You could end up riding roughshod over somebody and leaving both them and you feeling a lot worse. And you want to be the person that says exactly what's on your mind when it's going to be helpful. Now, it could be that what you have to say could be very direct, abrupt, maybe even a little bit critical, constructive criticism, but it could be that that's the best way, for that moment. But in general, when you come in contact with people, human beings want to feel happy. They want to feel accepted and paid attention to and loved. And so how are you doing contributing to the love in the world? And this is definitely a sense of freedom to be a positive influence. And I find also, Phoenix, many times people have this constricted sense where they feel like almost like they're in a straitjacket and they have to be very cautious about what they do and say and where they go. But they also haven't ever been able to really pinpoint what their desires are and what they feel and believe their life path really is. And so the beginning stage of freedom is to know what you want to be free to do. And that action, again, what action would you take if you were completely free? And so this is a process of exploration. What exactly is it that is my life path, my life purpose? And one of the techniques that people can use to discover this, and even if you think you're on your life path, well, there is, seasons of a man's life, seasons of a woman's life, and your life path can change as you get older. And we know absolutely, that there are many very famous people that became famous for the life path that happened in the second half of their life. And one of the techniques is a technique that was created by Anna Wise. And Anna Wise became very famous about, I would say, 35 years ago. And she wrote a book called The High Performance Mind.
You know what? You've talked about that book before, The High Performance Mind. Yes.
Yep. And now, if you go onto YouTube, you can find audio recordings from Anna's work that somebody had saved and put up on YouTube. And one of them is called The House of Doors. So if you go to YouTube and in the search you put in The High Performance Mind House of Doors, you will find an audio recording that comes up of Anna in her voice guiding you through an exercise. It's about maybe 20 minutes long, and she leads you into a progressive relaxation and then encourages you to imagine that you've entered into a house of infinity where you look down a corridor that seems to be never ending, and there's doorways that are closed on either side of this corridor, and that you can walk down this corridor, and when you feel compelled, turn towards a door and notice that door. What color is it? What does the door handle look like? Does it say something on the door? And then open the door and enter in and walk in and begin looking around in this room. And you can go in with a completely empty mind with no agenda and just see what exists in that room. And you'd be amazed what you will see materialize in a room that you enter into with a blank mind.
Well,
You
now
might see
this
artwork appear on the walls.
this is freaky. This is yeah, that is a powerful visualization. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't say it, but man, that is. I mean, I'm listening to you. I'm thinking about it, kind of like experiencing it, and that is very powerful because people who do remote viewing, yeah, like General Stubblebine, your old buddy and everything that
Yeah.
he taught. That's the key element of doing this type of thing is you empty your mind. You're not looking for anything. You're just experiencing things as they manifest, visions, things that come forward. That sounds like a really, really powerful thing. Please continue on because I just wanted to say that's some high level stuff right there. That's really cool. Please continue.
Yeah. So what Anna directs you to do is the first door you enter through is a doorway on the left side of the corridor. And then after you've been there for a little while, she guides you to leave the room and go back into the corridor and walk down, and this time pick a door on the right side and go into that room. And I think what she's trying to do is kind of help you move more into the right side of your brain. And so you now go into that door. And I have to tell you, when I do this, it's always something completely different. The the room on the left has its own theme, its own feelings, its own visuals, and the one on the right could not be any further from what you saw on the door on the left.
Amazing.
But
Yeah.
there's enough information in a 10-minute encounter, 5 minutes in one room and 5 in the other, to keep your mind and your imagination busy for years. I mean, the amount of feelings and information that come to you is a vast amount of stuff.
Mm.
And you can also use your intention if you want. You can simply have one word that you think before you go into one of the rooms. So, for example, you could just say path or life path, and you could open the door on the left, say life path, or you could even imagine that the word life path is on that door so that when you go in, you'll have this energetic connection to the part of the quantum field that relates to your life path. Some of your record from your past, record of your future, and then giving you a gift of your possible future actions in that present moment. And the sky's the limit. You can think of any word or any concept that you want before you enter these rooms, but I would encourage first do it from the state of no mind. And people sometimes have trouble doing that. Use the ultimate mind calming exercise. And I'll do this while I'm listening with headphones to this exercise. I will slowly do these head circles and put my hands on my heart and breathe in until my mind is totally blank. And all I hear is Anna Wise's voice and none of my own thoughts analyzing or projecting.
Hey,
And
hey, Bob,
that's
real quick.
that's well worth trying. And if you want to find it, House of Doors, the High Performance Mind on YouTube.
Okay, Bob, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually look that up while you continue on. House of Doors, Let me write this in. Because I want to put this link in the description box of these videos. House of Doors, now what?
The High Performance Mind.
Of the which mind?
The High Performance Mind. And that should get you, to that channel, so to speak, or
Okay.
to that specific video.
Here we go. The House of Doors audio book on audio. The High Performance Mind. House of Doors, Disc 1. What do we need to do here? 20 minutes. House of Doors. What is this? Analyze the High Performance Mind full album. Would that potentially be it?
That could do it, but I'll tell you what. Let me see if I have found
Analyze. Self-healing meditation. See, because they have the analyze topic.
Are you in YouTube?
Yeah, I'm looking at my feeds here. Now I can go over to the analyze topic. I'll do that because that was just a search. What do we have here? Not a lot right there. View full playlist. Okay, Beta Mastery Disc 1. It's what I found was the entire High Performance Mind, the complete thing, the entire album.
Yep. Well, that'll get people started to get there. I think there's 10 videos or 10 audios in there.
Yes.
But if people are listening and they can't find it for some reason, send an email over to Bob at Boomer Boost, and I'll send you a link to it.
Well, just give me the link after we do our interview here, and
okay.
I will post that.
You put
link
it in
the description box
That'll do
below,
it.
everyone.
I have a way to find it right now, but there's an advertisement that's really loud that's going to completely disrupt the recording if I keep doing it.
Well, we don't want to do that. So anyway, yes,
yeah.
After we finish recording, so everyone, while Bob's talking about it, I want you to continue on with this, Bob. Fascinating topic, especially, I mean, we're looking for freedom and being liberated from things, and this is an excellent, excellent topic. And so look in the description box below, everybody, as Bob explains all this to us, and you'll find it right there and go directly to what Bob is talking about. So please continue, Bob.
Yeah, so if you do this exercise with the intention of really finding out what your life path is and what you are supposed to be doing, that's going to make you feel happy, this is a first step towards freedom, because you want to say, freedom from what? Freedom to do what? Freedom, to live out my life path is what I want. And so, and I can definitively say this specifically is what I feel I am here to do, what I'm expected to do. And the expectation is from wherever. It's from yourself, it's from your higher self, it's from your God. But it's really beautiful to know that where you are, what you're doing has the right purpose for you. And if you can then identify that, then you can declare your freedom to say, I am free to pursue my life path. And today, this very day, I'm going to take steps towards the accomplishment of my goals, of my life path. And today, I am going to act as if I am free to do this. And I'm going to do it with confidence and focus and strength. You never want to pursue something from a point of weakness or fear. You'll never manifest what you're going after. You have to have strength to do it. And you can make a physical gesture. Maybe you make a strong fist and you point it towards your goal. Maybe your goal is often to the right. You point strongly towards there, and with resolve and a solemn commitment. Today I am living on my life path. I'm walking on my life path, and I'm taking actions that others can see that is taking me where I want to go. And now it might be time to write some of those things down. Make a mind map. Take a single piece of paper and draw a circle in the middle that says my life path, and underneath that, freedom to pursue. and draw a spoke that goes up and to the right, and draw a circle in the top right of that screen, and it'll say, and right in there, step one. And if you don't know what step one is, that's when you go back and very quietly quiet your mind again. And when you get quiet, you just say, what is step one? And even if you have to sit quietly for 5 minutes before anything comes to you about step one, it will come, no doubt. Because when the universe sees and feels and knows that you're now seriously attempting to go on your life path, the avenues of communication open up, and you'll know what the answer is.
Very cool. That was all really, really good techniques. Let's see. Now, the whole thing about, being free, being more independent, I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of people sometimes feel like they are dependent upon others for different things, and it doesn't have to be so. Many times, what happens, people kind of fall into a nocebo effect. It's like, can't teach an old dog new tricks or something like that. And a lot of people will not even kind of pursue different skill sets that are out there and make their life easier. And they feel dependent upon others. A lot of times, many times it's with electronic things, like computer issues, email issues, or whatever. And have you ever encountered that where people just like, they don't even want to try to learn, oh, I can't do that. And, we can't, you shouldn't say that you can't learn. You can. We have to be willing to expand our minds, to learn new things. And, that's the thing, I think, in longevity, Bob, is always learning something new. I try to learn something new every day, and I don't think there's a day that goes by that I haven't learned something new. And, I think that's a big deal, too, because sometimes kind of people like get in a nocebo effect that, well, I really can't do that. And you know what? You've never really tried. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I think that I see that all the time. And I think that about half the time that I will mention something to somebody in these regards, the answer comes back, no, I can't do that because. And the other half, some people will say, yeah, I'll try that. I'll give that a go. And I remember encouraging a friend of mine a little while ago who was always talking about spiritual jewelry, and he was always talking about pets. And I said to him, you really should have a hobby or a sideline business of making spiritual jewelry for pets.
Oh, wow.
And what if you could make a small beaded necklace that would go with a collar that would be safe, and it would have particular beads and crystals that would help a pet to feel calm. Or what if it was a special healing necklace for a pet that might be sick? And what if it was really, really beautiful and it gave a sense of hope to the owner of that animal, that when they were to receive this in a beautiful box and they open it up, they would get this magnificent feeling of hopefulness and love and a gift that they can give to their pet, which is also a gift to themselves. And Phoenix, what's today? Friday?
Yes.
On Wednesday, that same person, I met up with him, and he showed me the first completed project.
Very
and it was
cool.
Beautiful.
Wow. That's
it was beautiful.
Great idea.
Yep.
Everybody out there, don't you steal this man's idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Spiritual jewelry and healing jewelry for pets. That is really novel. I've never heard that. That's a great idea. That's really cool.
And he called me later in the day to say, hey, I'm down at my friend's store who's a jeweler, and showing her, what I made. And she had some suggestions, and, this wire you used is a little too stiff, and you don't want this there that could get hooked on something if the cat is walking around outside in the yard, and practical, advice. And now, as it turns out, that same jeweler is, even though there's no jewelry for pets in her store, well, guess what? Now, next week, there is going to be.
Oh, that's crazy. Watch this. I right now I pick this up, Bob. This is going to be a thing. Everyone, if you first hearing about pet jewelry right here, remember this broadcast. Okay, because I'm telling you, that's going to take off. I can feel it.
Yeah, I really felt that way myself, and it came from him. He was always talking about it, but not together, just kind of in separate ways. And he had his own bracelets and he was always showing me, hey, see this stone right here? This is this, and this is what it does, and this is what it's for. And then he actually had written a book that was for sale, that was about pets. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was a really cool little book that he put out on Amazon. He's going to write another one. I was like, why don't you combine the two together? And these are the types of revelations that come to people when they do an exercise like the House of Doors.
Very cool.
But then the action is really critical. And the action that this man took was he went to different stores that were arts and crafts stores, and he talked to the people at the stores. Hey, I want to do this. And they guided him. Oh, well, here's this section over here, and you're going to need this clasp, and you're going to need this. And he took action one step after another. And now he's going to be, really doing this.
That is fantastic.
And it's and it's an example.
Yeah.
So absolutely use whatever technique that you need to identify your life path. And also, if you're feeling stuck and you're like, well, I just, I'm too busy, I'm too sick, I could never spend time doing that type of thing, really look around you in your environment where you spend most of your time, and look to see what's positive and what's negative, and what is giving you a sense of freedom and what's not. And start with the whole concept of clutter. Is there clutter in your house? Is there clutter in your office? And when you walk into this office or bedroom or living room, do you get an immediate sense of joy and beauty and positive energy? And if not, start taking one or two small steps that can change that for you, because your environment matters. Remember, we talked about exercising in the gym versus outside. Well, the environment matters a lot, and you want to think about this.
Cluttered mind. I've always said and heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And look around and decide, are these pictures that are on the wall really inspiring me? What do I really feel when I look at these pictures? And if they don't really speak to you in a positive way, then resolve to change them. Just take them down off the wall, put them in the closet, cover them over with a blanket, and then this, I can tell you, Phoenix, this will be so much fun for people. Do the House of Doors exercise with the intention of seeing artwork that will really make you feel great.
Cool. There you go.
And there will be an invisible artist with a paintbrush will appear and will paint that artwork for you on the wall. And you'll see it materialize before your eyes. And that becomes the image that you store in your mind as you shop for your new piece of artwork.
You know, Bob, this is all fantastic information about increasing our independence, increasing our freedom, you know, our mental, physical, all forms of freedom and being free. But we are not free of the clock right now. We just hit an hour, and Bob, this has been a really fantastic conversation, and I've enjoyed it very much. Again, everyone, that link is in the description box below. You will find it there when this is posted for the House of Doors. Now, Bob, as we are running out of time here, number one, really appreciate all this information, but as usual, how about giving us your final thoughts? Take as much time as you want, and exactly your contact information, how people can find out more information, and leave us with some words of wisdom, please.
Well, thank you, Phoenix. Sure. People can give us a call if you want to talk. We answer the phones from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday Eastern Time. 800-861-4609. And if you want to come and visit, you can do that. We're at 5401 Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. And just call ahead so you can be sure that I'll be here to see you. It's not a storefront where you come and shop, but all of our products are here in the fulfillment center in the back. And so if people want to come by and pick up products, they can do that. And if you want to come by and just talk, you can do that as well. And just on final thoughts, I would say that right now, as we're talking in July, of 2024, we have 4 more months to go before an election. There's going to be possibly a lot of, discordant energy, I should say, that might occur. And this is the time to really, really have a place to go, meaning, what am I going to do? What am I going to do during the day? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? What am I going to contribute to the world that then, of course, in turn contributes to me, so that I'm focused on positive, generative things. And for some of us, it might be being involved in a campaign, right? A political campaign. It's that time of year. It's that time of, the 4 years. And that would be great if that's what you want to do. But if it's not, don't get too caught up in it, and spend time focused on you, your life path, and the good things you can do for other people.
Very good. That's some wise advice. And Bob, thank you so much for everything you always bring to us, and I appreciate it very much. I know all our listeners were, and looking forward to our next Patriot Health Report. Until then, everyone, be sure and check out all the information on Bob's site. You can go to patriotintelreport.com, click on the Lady in the Blue Lightning Storm, and be sure and check down below for a link to the video that Bob has been telling us about. Until next Patriot Health Report, everyone, be well, be strong, be healthy. God bless, and Phoenix and Bob out.